In this how-to, I'm going to show you how to add nav waypoints to a flight plan. I've opened up a flight plan from a previous how-to that was from San Francisco to Hayward. We'll just fly back the other way and I'll choose an RNAV approach just as an example, but you'd be able to use this same technique for any waypoints on the planet. So let's get rid of the sites. We're not going to sightsee on this leg. And let's reverse our airports. So now we're taking off from Hayward and landing at San Francisco International. And we'll save this one as the reverse. Let's figure out where we want to take off from. So we better zoom in to Hayward. Yeah, see, we're going to spawn in the middle of the airport there. So let's take off the opposite direction so we have a little bit of time. 10 right. Alright, so we want 10 right, we're not at a gate. Alright, and we've said we want to start on the runway. And then let's see where we want to land in San Francisco. Let's choose one right, and that should send us out over the hills, I'm guessing, on the approach. So we're going to arrive at one right. Now, we may end up changing that once we get in the aircraft, and we'll see what, I want to pick an RNAV approach for the example. Now, there's other products out there that you can use to generate commercial flight plans. Obviously, Flight Plan is designed as a VFR product. It's just for fun. So the nav waypoints and the approaches are not built in like they are in the glass cockpit. Or again, there's other products and even some websites where you can generate commercial IFR flight plans if that's what you want. And I'll pick an aircraft. I'm going to choose the X-Cub because the glass cockpit, the touchscreen buttons are nice and big, so they should be easy to see. So that's all we need for our flight plan. And we'll go ahead and load it up in World Map. Okay, so as we've departed Hayward, they've already given us our ILS approach for 28 right via Dumba is our approach waypoint. So I'm going to set the autopilot. We're going to want to choose our approach. And they've told us ILS 28 right to Dumba. So we'll load and activate. Oh. Okay, so I wasn't paying attention and it set my transition to Archie. They told me Dumba. So, load and activate. And we're 7.5 miles from Dumba. Okay, and we're going to want to watch the map. Okay, so I'm letting the aircraft fly us to Dumba as our next waypoint, and what I'm going to do is just wait for the waypoint to pass underneath the aircraft in the glass cockpit, and I'll drop my pin. You'll notice I've got my map zoom set fairly high, and I'm going to drop my pin behind my aircraft as I pass over Dumba, which looks like we should be right there. And I'll use the correct waypoint since I have real waypoint names. So our next waypoint is Sepin in 3 miles. And again, as Sepin passes underneath my aircraft, I just drop a pin and wait for the next one, which is Axmal. And as I pass over Axmal, same thing. GPS follow back on, and you can see our next one's runway 28 right, which I presume there's not going to be an actual waypoint for. And we're still at 6,000 feet, so we're not going to dive bomb the runway. But that shows the technique of adding, in this case, the ILS approach for 28 right. And now if you wanted, you could go back and save your flight plan with some sort of a meaningful name. Let's call it KSFO with ILS 28 right, I think it was, approach. And then anytime you wanted to use this approach from anywhere, you can replace Hayward with any airport you want. Just leave these last 3 waypoints plus the airport, and you'll have your approach to 28 right. And of course, you could change your aircraft to anything you wanted. You could add an airport anywhere you want, or even start in flight wherever you want to drop a pin. That shows how to add an approach, but the reality is you could use the same technique to drop a pin in place for any nav waypoint. You just need to have something with a glass cockpit so that you can see the waypoints and just fly over the top of it and drop a pin, whether you do it on autopilot or hand fly it. Hope that was helpful. I don't know how useful it is, but maybe it's something fun to do. This flight plan will be available for download on the website, simflightplan.com/downloads. I'll put the link to it in the description box. All flight plans are free for everyone to download and fly, so help yourself. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe.